Warning, what's actually stopping you from retiring early? Today's episode is sponsored by Billy Keel's Advisory Services. If you want to learn more about how to make your 99 optional, just go to makeitoptional.com. Once again, that's makeitoptional.com.
Helping you build freedom without losing your edge. This is the Going Long podcast with Billy Keels.
Warning, what's actually stopping you from retiring early? So it's going to be a really brief episode. You stick with me. It's going to help you recognize, especially if you're someone who is an executive. You're probably one of these executives. You're working, you're traveling constantly. You're in the mid six figures in terms of your salary. And I know that this happened to me, and I want to share this, but this actually happened. This is through a client conversation. And so one of the things that I love about being able to have a podcast or the positive parts of social media is that I get to come into contact with some amazingly cool corporate executives, right? And I spend a lot of time, or I invest is probably a better way to say it. I invest a lot of time over on LinkedIn. And yes, I do posting, and yes, that a lot of things happen, but there's some real magic that happens through the DMs, through the direct messages. And I get to interact and engage with some amazing people, right? And this is a story of why I love connecting, because it also shows the longevity of like what we do and how I like to serve. It's not like a one shot. It's not like a real quick thing. It's something that takes time, because this is about developing and understanding relationships. So this is going to take, well, it's not going to take that long, but this is over a span of a couple of years. But there is someone that I will call Marcus, right? Well, and you're probably watching and or listening, and you know that this is about you. And so I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share your story. But one of the things that happens, and one of the reasons I want to share this with you, is if you have ever gotten into a point where you are feeling absolutely stuck, like you are paralysis analysis, and you're tired of being stuck, like you want to break out, like this is a very brief episode, and it's going to help you, because paralysis analysis is also one of the things that stops people from getting to quote unquote retirement early. But so back to Marcus, right? So Marcus is, when originally we were chatting, starting to meet, like it was the typical thing, like, hey, listen, I really want to be able to do this. I was calling it something different at the time, but like, I want to get to optionality because I just want to make more money. I want to make a lot more money. I want to take control of my earnings. And as we started to have more chats or understand through the DMs, we started actually recognizing that a lot of it was wanting to have no longer having a dependence on one paycheck, right? I mean, it was just to get away from that dependence on one paycheck, to be able to show to his family that he was able to not just depend on one source of income, because it allowed him to create other experiences. Like, so, and this goes on for quite a while. But then the thing that this episode wants to speak to is one of the things that was happening to him that happens to a lot of us. And I put my hand up, right? If you're watching the video version, I put my hand up because this is something that was very similar to happen to me. Now, the thing that happened is, over time, when Marcus and I, well, we connected, but there was a certain point in time, and I'll talk a little bit about that, where we realized that he had this plan with his credentialed expert, and his credentialed expert, and some people say financial advisor, right? So a credentialed expert helped him to understand that he needed to create a plan, and he had created this plan. But he got to a certain point, and like where I'll pick this up is, like, I got this text message a communication, let's call it that, a communication. And the idea was, he was sharing this story of like, hey, look, he'd been working on this particular plan for over 2 years, and he still felt like he had nothing to show for it, and was really doubting himself and saying, hey, look, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, something is absolutely not working. And I realized that he had been going through a lot of the same challenge that many high achievers go through. Now, keep in mind, he's an exec in the enterprise software space. He's making like just short of $400,000 a year. Definitely not a lazy person, extremely hard worker, present at work, continues to be on a promotion path, works to continue to be present at home. But there's a lot of early mornings and late nights, right? It's just the reality. But what he was trying to do, because he got this number that he was looking to replace that entire number and do it overnight. And it was causing a lot of frustration. Because the thing that happened is, as he started running these numbers, like when he ran the numbers with his advisor, like it came through, it was like $4.5 million, right? Like that, and that's what he was attempting to replace overnight. And he felt like once he could, I remember saying, like once he could hit his number, like he'd be able to retire comfortably. But in the meanwhile, what he was going to do is continue to maximize his 401k. He was going to continue to, hope that the investments that he had going on the side were going to work out, and that his job was going to continue to give him pay increases. And, or he had even thought about moving to a competitor because he thought he could, get a significant bump by taking his knowledge to a competitive firm. And he was like really going to continue to do this for another 15 to 18 years. Like that was the thing. That's what he wanted to do. But once he started helping me understand, and we started getting into the story a little bit more, it rang like, chills went down my spine, because I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, some of this sounds so familiar. And that's why I want to share this with you, because there is a way for you to figure out what is actually stopping you. And I want to give you the key to actually breaking what is stopping you. Because Marcus had gone through this point for like 2 years. He was in a point where, he was, aside from hoping things were going to go well with his investments, he was performing it well at the office. And then when he was working to actually take some of the parts into his own hands, he started doing research, because he was somebody, or he is somebody who, likes to really be thorough, do his diligence and things like that. But as he started looking at other investments, he was looking at everything. He was wanting to look at, or he looked at real estate. He was looking at some private equity investments where he would do like seed funding. He was looking at, what do you call it? He was looking at franchise opportunities. And if there was a money-making opportunity, he was definitely looking at it. He was definitely studying it. And he, got into this loop where he was watching podcasts or listening to podcasts like this one and watching a lot of YouTube videos. And he just kind of went down this path of being able to study and study and study and study, created a bunch of spreadsheets. And he got to a point where he'd come home in the evening. And of course, it's that conversation. If this resonates with you, I hope it does not too often. But, it's that, hey, listen, honey, you come to bed? And it's like, well, yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Well, 25 minutes, 30 minutes later, it's like, are you coming here to bed? No. Well, okay, for 5 more minutes. And so that goes on and on and on. But all of these plans were leaving Marcus in a point where he wasn't getting anything like moving forward. And so it kind of fast forward, we're on an advisory call. We go through this and he's sharing all this information with me. And like immediately I spotted the problem, because as he started to tell the story, the one that I'm telling you, I'm like, well, kind of where are you, and do some diagnosis. And I recognized that his problem was not that he wasn't smart, not that he didn't know how to create plans, but he was stuck in paralysis analysis, because that 4.5 million gap, it was so large that it felt better to just study than actually do the work to start to make the gap, smaller. So, I even wrote a post on this on LinkedIn and stuff like that. I'm sure you can probably find it, but here's the thing. We slowed everything down. It was like, whoa, hang on a second. So without going into all of the detail, right? But to share with you, the whole thing was, how do we start to like not get to the 4.5 million or 4 point something million over like immediately? I think it's 4.2, 4.3 million immediately, but it is what can we do to help you to start to gain momentum? And why? Because once you start to move forward and move towards that, like, that's when things begin to happen. That's what's stopping you from actually getting to retirement early, is that there's too much overstudying and things like that, and less doing. So what can we do to help you get the information that you need to actually begin to build momentum? Because once you build momentum, every single thing changes. It all changes. You're not fearful of this is going to happen, that may happen. You start to step into the more confidence and more of your greatness. And you also start to feel much better about the decisions, not just the ones you're making to build your side business, but the ones even at the office, because all that carries over. The ones that, when you're more confident, you're more present at home even. And so, but the thing is, you got to start somewhere. Right. And it's not going to be a perfect plan. I am a recovering perfectionist, and this is something that I deal with quite frequently. But the idea is to create that plan that is going to be able to help you to build momentum. And when you go through those moments of trepidation, is to have that plan and or that person and or that process, that proven process next to you, so that you can overcome that, so you can continue the momentum. Now, the reality is has Marcus gotten to that point yet? No. And he said I could share that. So he's not there yet. But you know what? He is much more confident. He is continuing to build, continuing to keep that momentum moving. And every single day, he's getting to a point where, hey, look, I'm not going to have to wait 15, 18 years. I can see this is like much more possible because of the things that I'm doing to supplement this original plan, right? And so that's the goal, is to create progress, not perfection, but more importantly, it's don't let the huge gap stop you from taking action, because, well, you want to get to your goal sooner rather than later. You want to get to that point where you are absolutely not dependent on one source of income, so that you and your family, your loved ones, you can actually live the life and the lifestyle that you want. So, Marcus, wink, wink. You know who you are. Thank you for letting me share your story. I appreciate that. That's one of the things I really love about continuing to help clients and move forward. And so as you continue to move forward, if this resonates with you at all, or if you know that someone's struggling with the same kind of issue, take today's episode, share it with them, show them that you care, get on the phone, talk to them, share the concepts, go from theory to practice, which is one of the things I always like to say. And most importantly, I want to say thank you very much, and go out and make it a great day.